Convo couch. California right now. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Social distance. Stay safe. Jesus Christ. Remember that dystopia that might happen if we don't, whatever and whatever right now, if we don't get on that now and fix it? The thing that might happen? Remember we were talking about that? There it is. There's the thing that will happen if we don't do the thing we should have did. We might want to get on it sometime. Because it might, this might happen. Oh shit, it's already happening. Are you involved with some type of group? Are you involved in an anti-capitalist organization? Are you organizing with fellow anti-capitalists in some way? Are you working with others in organization and concert with others? Are you doing food not bombs? Are you working on a mutual aid effort? There's plenty of opportunities for you to get involved in those things if you're not currently, and if that's not in your area, because of course people's demographics are different in the cities and the areas and whatever that you live in don't have as many opportunities, but you could be the one. You could become that opportunity, I guess, for lack of a better word, in your community. Because it's fucking here, fam. This is what the graphic fucking collapse of capitalism all around us. And all we have is us to protect ourselves from this. Community. Hey fam, welcome to Punks for Progress. I'm Reverend Aaron. This is a What the Fuck report, where we're going to take a look at news from the revolutionary struggle. But we're listening to Los Crudos. Yeah. I decided to go ahead and go with all 7-inch records today. I pulled out 8 or 10 7-inches. But I got to show you some of this. This is so cool. Now, first of all, this is cut and paste. Like, you can feel these two were cut and paste on here, and you can see, like, anyway, it's just each and every single one is hand done. Check this shit out. Oh, okay, hold on. This is also handmade, but fucking, it's a pop-up thing. Isn't that cool? Anyway, if you can't read that, it says, I was given the job of holding the Contras together, body and soul. Oliver North. This is how, here we go. Boink. And it also has a... Yeah, there it is. Anyway, all of Los Crudos' early 7-inches have that hands-on... Like, one of them is literally all printed on napkins. But yeah, it takes me longer to describe it than it does to play the whole frickin' record almost. 6 songs, this is the 3rd song, we'll flip it over. Now, anyway, hey, welcome. Like I said, I'm Reverend Aaron, this is the What the Fuck report. We're going to take a look at news from the revolutionary struggle via the Punks for Progress Facebook main page. It's a main page because we have regional pages like P4P Indiana, P4P Philly, P4P New York, West Virginia. But all the admins of those pages, myself and others, admin our main page, and we try to share news of the revolutionary struggle nationally and internationally, and I think you get a really good sort of aggregate overview of what's on a bunch of different revolutionary leftist radar. But there's also, music videos, and it is Punks for Progress after all. And we'll be playing records throughout. But one of the things I've started doing, this will be the 2nd time, is I want to read a short essay from Enrico Malatesta. Now, this is from the Complete Works. This is volume 3 from AK Press. They're doing a 10-part Complete Works. that they have put out volume 3 and volume 4 of. Why, I don't know. But the first section in this book is a collection of essays called Anarchism and Parliamentarism. And I just think that they're like I said, they're 1 or 2 pages apiece. I think they're super relevant, even though you'll see the time they were written, they're still relevant today. And this is the second in those essays. It's called Our Program, translated from Il Nostro Programma, L'Agitazione, Ancana the First, number 1, March 14, 1897. So, we are anarchists. The social system in which we are presently living is founded upon the principle that each person should look out for himself without bothering about the rights and interests of others. Gosh, hold on. Let me start one more time, fam. And, yeah, now we'll save that. We are anarchist socialists. The social system in which we are presently living is founded upon the principle that each person should look out for himself without bothering about the rights and interests of others, useless unless can't say that, right? And it's one more time, without bothering about the rights and interests of others unless others' resistance might place his interests in jeopardy. Every individual is out to ensure that he gets every possible means of enjoyment, even if others suffer, even by subordinating those others and making instruments of them. This is a war of each against all and all against each. And due to a sentiment that ought to have fostered goodwill and brotherliness between all men, but instead, because of a wrong-headed organization of society, has become a powerful obstacle to human fellowship. That is, the sentiment of love for one's progeny. Each person hands on to his children the advantages he has struggled to win. And so the privileges won by individuals are consolidated and added to and become class privileges. The brutish violence of the stronger leads gradually to the political establishment of the state, whereby the privileged have no further need, let alone ability, to commit themselves to the violent contest, but harness the very strength of the oppressed to the practice and upkeep of oppression. And the plain and simple theft of the fruits of other men's labors flourishes as private ownership of the land and of all the means of production, and in the lawful right to set others to work for one's own benefit. Out of the state of affairs grows selfishness and hatred between men. Out of it come poverty, physical depletion, and moral degradation for the masses. Out of it come criminality and prostitution, warfare, and as well as the melee, uncertainty, and fear that afflict the wealthy, almost as payback, a meager and dismal payback, for the unspeakable suffering that they inflict upon the poor. This state of affairs we seek to abolish, in order to replace it with a society rooted in cooperation and solidarity, wherein everyone enjoys equal entitlement to the blessings of society, and where everybody contributes to society through his effort. We want to see again the land and all natural resources, the shared inheritance of all human beings. We want capital, that is, the instruments of labor, machines, housing, and all manner of provisions, which are the accumulated product of the toil of present and past generations of workers, returned to the workers. We want everyone to have the wherewithal to work and the opportunity to come to some accommodation with other workers in the organization of work and enjoyment of its fruits. We want the people to genuinely recover their sovereignty and putting an end to a system in which the few, in the name of some purported divine right or on behalf of some supposed will of the people, prescribe a rule to suit themselves, start a new society in which all are truly free, and through free association and federation, look to cooperation and solidarity as the means of exercising their own freedom without trespass against the freedoms of others. We want science to be a light to every intellect, and love and joy to smile upon every man. But how do we mean to achieve these ideals of ours? Certainly not by wanting for the privileged voluntarily to give up their privileges and return as brothers to the ranks of the people from which they step forward as rulers. The privileged classes have always been deaf to the lamentations of the wretched, always been blind to the pressing demands of the times. Even though today they demonstrate no more kindness or intelligence than they have in the past. The people must see to their own emancipation. Once it is woken up to its rights and is resolved to bring its sufferings to an end, once it discovers the root causes of its woes and the remedies to be applied to them, once it discovers union as the strength it can never enjoy for as long as it is divided against itself, then the result is plain. For whom the power of thought is coupled with ill will and naked force, there is no refuge from it for mankind. Our mission, therefore, is to spread the ideas of emancipation and to encourage and lend a hand in the organization of the people's strength. Provided that comrades are generous with their support and sympathy for us, we hope that our efforts shall not be in vain. Let's see, he's got that quote, the quote there, the 3-line, for when the power of thought is coupled with ill will and naked force, there is no refuge from it for mankind, is, it's from Dante's Inferno, lines 55 to 57. But yeah, that's the second essay in volume 3 of the complete works. It's called Our Program. It's just, I mean, he's writing about this in 1897. I'm struck by every one of these essays, by how relevant it is to exactly what we're experiencing today. Anyway, there's your dose of Enrico Malatesta for the day. Why don't we flip over this here Los Crudos record and hear the second side? Oh, we already did? Did we already hear the whole thing? We did, didn't we? You know what I have set up, though? Fear not if you enjoyed Los Crudos. I also have a Limp Wrist 7-inch pulled out. Limp Wrist being the band that Martin from Los Crudos did after Los Crudos. I've seen some reunions of both Los Crudos and Limp Wrist. But Limp Wrist is... you're a homophobe and you want to talk some shit on some fucking glorious dick on dick action, fuck around, find out, and bring it, punk rock. That's what Limp Wrist is, man. Limp Wrist, seriously, is not about even a little teeny bit of fucking around if you got an issue with what they love to do with people they love and care about or whatever, right? Dude, Limp Wrist is militant homophobia, fucking punk rock. Check this. Gay bashers, come and get it. You guys fucking rule. And, see? Limp Wrist. And we will get into news from the revolutionary struggle via the Punks for Progress Facebook main page. And I'm going to have to put these fucking stupid ass things in. because we'll be playing videos and things that I need to hear, and this makes it possible for me to hear them. And there's our pin post, which is just a link to our interview with Father Fury, which you should definitely check out. But yeah, this is definitely what I want to start out with. This is from the Real News out of Baltimore. Black August honors the legacy of militant rebellion. This is a kind of a lengthy video. It's about 18 minutes. But if you're not familiar with what Black August is, you're going to love this. And switch over here. I have it set up already because I anticipated wanting to play this. Whoops. And we'll just have to hold off on the limp wrist and we'll save it. You know what I'll do? Start that song over. Yeah. Got that queued up so it'll start over. And here we go.
Welcome to this episode of Rather Than the Bars. I'm Eddie Conway, coming to you from Baltimore. Recently, we were forced to revisit Soledad Prison in California, where over 200 Black prisoners taken into a mess hall, handcuffed, forced to sit back to back, shoulder to shoulder, with no masks by white and Latinx guards. No Black guards participated in this raid. And of course, it was just before the beginning of Black August. And it made us think about Black August itself and the role that Soledad played in that, and also about the conditions now, 50 some years later. So we wanted to look at Black August, what it means to Black people, our history, and so on. And so joining me today is Lumumba and Monifa Vandelli. Lumumba, Monifa, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so I want to start off with understand what is Black August. I mean, we know about Black History Month. We know about a lot of different things. What's Black August?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question because I think with the popularity of Black August, some people can think it's just another Black History Month, but it's not. It's a very specific commemoration, honoring, and continuing the legacy of our freedom fighters, many of which who found themselves incarcerated because of their activism, were killed by the state, or otherwise led militant rebellions for Black liberation. And so Black August was actually born in August of 1971 in the wake of the assassination of George Jackson. And he was someone who fought for the human rights of prisoners throughout the prison system and also Black people in general. And so that's a name that, we're finding too often gets lost. And so what happened is that the brothers and sisters who were impacted by his work celebrated his life every August by studying, sacrificing, doing work with each other, to improve one another's lives, and found out about all of the other many historic events that had happened in August: the Haitian Revolution, the various city rebellions, the birth of Marcus Garvey, and created a month-long celebration in the tradition of the work of George Jackson, but also encompassing so much of our very militant freedom fighting that had happened over the history. And so it left the prisons and came out into the community through many of the powerful activists in Oakland who began to have community Black August commemorations where people fasted, throughout the day and studied and worked out and read and dedicated themselves, recommitted themselves to carrying on the work of the freedom fighters that we are celebrating. And finally, I want to say, especially today, one of the key components of Black August is to fight for the freedom of our political prisoners. And within that, decarcerating and abolishing prisons as a whole. So Black August is more than just another Black History Month. It really oftentimes celebrates those that we are forgotten or that our history books don't want us to learn about because of the militant stance they took.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with you for another minute because I want to do a follow up. One of the things that a criticism that I had of Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow, was that it went from it did the history of the Black community up to the civil rights era, and then it leaped into crack cocaine. And somewhere in the middle of that, the whole Black liberation struggle was missing.
Right.
And one of the things that I find that writers, especially Black writers, white writers, petty bourgeoisie writers, etc., tend to leave out the struggle of Black people historically. And I'm concerned, and I wonder why that is. Why there's no talk about the struggle, the rebellion, the the sacrifices our warriors made on the continent, on the ships, during slavery, and up until today. Why do you think it's ignored? The warriors, men
Don't
and
want to
women
inspire anything, man.
of the African people.
Yeah, well, I have two answers to that. One is that those of us that come out of that tradition need to tell that story. You know, we need to create more books, more films, more cultural representations of the struggles that we come out of. I love the book by Dr. Akinyele Umoja, We Will Shoot Back. There's not just
Yeah.
one book on this stuff. We need to create a plethora of study and texts that highlight what happened in Haiti, what happened on the various plantations that forced the Civil War to happen. It was the abolitionists doing work. We always say there's an outside game, and there's an inside game. We learn about the inside game, the lobbying and the letter writing and the stories and the shifting the political narrative. But there was also a very fierce rebellion growing on plantations all over the country to where the system could not be contained. There had to be, there was a push happening, not just the Nat Turner Rebellion, but many, pushing us into the Civil War. So that's one thing, is that we have to tell that. We have to tell that. We have to document that. We hope that we're doing that better through Black August. And then the second piece, I think, is really clear. We saw it highlighted at the funeral of John Lewis, where a former president of the United States took the opportunity in celebrating a leader in the civil rights movement to take a jab at a leader in the Black liberation movement.
Right. At his funeral.
He showed
At
as a young
this
man,
fucker, man.
there are some things that you cannot do to hang on to a position, because if you do them, you won't be who you are anymore.
Fuck
And
you.
I say there were 2 or 3 years there where the movement went a little bit too far towards Stokely, but
Too far, huh?
in the end, John Lewis prevailed.
So in describing what he
Kwame
thought was so great
Ture.
about John Lewis's life, he said, and he was the victor over Kwame Ture, right? So again, there's the mainstream narrative, and there's the white supremacist infrastructure
Right.
that wants to say, this is how we want you to dismantle white supremacy.
Just blatantly, I just want to say really quick, just blatantly, fam. Just blatantly, the gall of that fucking asshole, fucking Bubba, to walk in there and play the fucking, the good black versus the bad black. Why don't you just fucking pee on the fucking funeral floor, you fucking scumbag? Like, God, it's so foul. It's so brazen and foul. The reason I think I'm so taken aback by it, one, because, yeah, it's exploiting a black man's funeral to talk shit on another black man and all that that black man represented, which was really just emancipation and freedom and liberty and equality by any means necessary, essentially. And fucking gets his name wrong. Like Bubba don't fucking know it's Kwame Ture now. I mean, the average person probably doesn't know that Stokely Carmichael changed his name and stuff. That's not like just average person on the street knows that information. But fucking Bubba knows. Anyway.
With your approach to dismantling white supremacy. And we have to push back and say, no, we've always had many tracks to our liberation. They're all important. The work that John Lewis did was important, and the work that Kwame Ture did was powerful and important, and you cannot discredit one over the other.
That's right.
And so I think that's why we see more of one than the other, is because the state prefers our stance to be a certain way, to be non-militant. I don't say non-violent because there was a lot of violence.
I'm sorry, I talked over that. Let me allow her to say that once more, because this is really crucial. Very, very important. Fundamentally, like, gets to the root of what we all talking about. Still,
was powerful and important, and you cannot discredit one over the other. And so I think that's why we see more of one than the other, is because the state prefers our stance to be a certain way, to be non-militant. I don't say non-violent because there was a lot of violence in the work that John Lewis and his comrades did. They were just on the receiving end of it, right?
That's
It really was no non-violent struggles.
That's right.
But as far as our tactics to advance,
you want to talk about this, non-violence and whatever. I mean, can you please tell the state that administers the violence the same thing? I'm not trying to justify violence. I'm trying to tell you, like, if you're the one who's sitting around freaking out about non-violence and protest and all this stuff, and you think that that's a real actual issue to be concerned about, it's not, because the vast majority of people who take the time to go out and protest, violence is not the intent, despite what right-wing media spews perpetually all day long. No, it's the violence definitely is a top-down. The violence is the response to peaceful protests. And to frame John Lewis as the good protester, the good black man, and Kwame Ture as the bad black man and the bad protester, is to essentially espouse a position for everybody to internalize that, just get out and say you don't like it. Just don't fucking do anything about it and expect us to stop doing what we're doing that you don't like, which is brutalizing and murdering all kinds of people, more often than not based on race or gender or sexual orientation or some combination of those, right? And I'll back it up a little bit because I talked over a little of what they were saying. And I want to hear this again, like what she said about the militancy and the violence. And it really is about stifling militant follow through on demands for change.
Prefers our stance to be a certain way, to be non-militant. I don't say non-violent because there was a lot of violence in the work that John Lewis and his comrades did. They were just on the receiving end of it, right? It really was no non-violent struggles. But as far as our tactics to advance our liberation, there is a curating of it, an erasure of some of the work that we did. And Black August, as this tradition grows, is a way for us to say no, by any means necessary.
Okay, good.
Thank you for that.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Jonathan Jackson, August 7th, 1970, and the attempt to free the Soledad brothers. But Lumumba, you both of y'all are really the founding members of the uh, Black August hip hop stuff. Give me what is that? Talk a little bit about that movement with Black artists, hip hop artists, and so on.
Thank you. So it's a good transition from your previous question, because Malcolm X Grassroots Movement, along with Stress Magazine, and at the time, a brother named Kofi Taha from Students for Jericho, were charged by two of the sisters in exile who were all attending the World Youth Festival in Havana, Cuba in 1997. And she talked to us both individually, they talked to us both individually and also collectively, saying that we need to figure out how to use our resources, our networks, our platforms to contribute more to the freedom of our political prisoners. And I want to make a distinction because the charge really was to create a program. When we came back and decided that we were going to do a hip hop program, we then decided to call it Black August. So it is a distinction in that we weren't charged to do a Black August event. We were charged to do an event around political prisoners, and we thought that the vehicle of Black August is a perfect container for it. And so Black August Hip Hop Project was designed to do just that, to create a space where we could use hip hop as a tool to talk about our liberation struggle, our freedom struggle, to honor and give voice and narrative to those men, women, and other nameless folks who participated and sacrificed in our liberation struggle. We decided to do a concert in New York City and have all of the artists donate their time, and we would sort of put a twist on the traditional hip hop show. The traditional hip hop show, when you go in, you're inundated with all of this commodification around soft drinks, beer, cigarettes, all these other things. And so we took a twist on that. And when you went into the Black August show, you were inundated around images of freedom fighters. Instead of merchandise around the room, you actually had tables being staffed by organizations who were trying to share their campaigns. People were directed to join organizations.
Fuck yeah.
So it really was rooted in not only a message, but an aesthetic of Black liberation. And the objective was to share that information, but also direct people to become involved. And so raise awareness and raise money. And then there was an additional component, which was an international component, to create international networks between hip hop communities in the diaspora and on the continent and in the United States. And we did that when we traveled internationally. The first 3 years we went to Cuba. We then went to Brazil, we went to South Africa, we went to Venezuela, we went to Haiti, Tanzania, all of these places where hip hop lives. And, we have some success stories. One of the second trip to Cuba, Common, the rap artist out of Chicago, was able to go and had an opportunity to sit down with Assata Shakur and came back and recorded Song for Assata. Now, this is important because prior to that, MXGM was a part of the Hands Off Assata Coalition. And our work around in that space really was limited to doing poetry readings, doing speak outs. And we had these trifold kind of brochures that talked about who she was. And we could probably tell that we were not getting as many people involved or informed as we should. But by taking Common and by having him have access to her, by him being able to come back and create that song, there's no way now for us to quantify how many people know her story, how many people now are directed to her autobiography, how many people now know the real truth about her, how many people have begun to dismantle this label that the state puts on her as terrorists. And so those are some of the main things that the concert was able to do.
Okay.
How cool is that?
And it should be noted, too, that the grassroots, Malcolm X grassroots movement has been working endlessly, tirelessly for the freedom of Black people as well as political prisoners. And that's my question. This new movement is actually creating political prisoners, will create political prisoners and people all across the country, not only going to jail, even though it doesn't seem like a lot is going on, it also is that a lot of people in these movements are now being killed uh, at peaceful protests, rallies, demonstrations. They're being ran down by cars or shot or or just made to disappear. Uh, Considering that, talk a little bit about your work around political prisoners and also about what the movement activists need to be doing today to ensure that 50 years later, they're not struggling to liberate their political prisoners.
Yeah, so that's part of why we talk about political prisoners in the way that we did, and why we use Black Orchids as that vehicle, because it's not those individuals who were identified because of who they were. You were not identified because you're just Eddie Conway. Sekou was not identified because he's Sekou, because these are people who took very radical, uncompromising stances for our freedom, and the concept still exists. This generation now has born a number of, and countless, in fact, people who may not necessarily have the organizational vehicle at the moment, but have the desire to make sure that we obtain freedom by any means necessary. That's a dangerous position to be in, because the state has shown us that they will push back on that. They will criminalize our movement. They will attempt to incarcerate our movement, and they will continue to murder freedom fighters as they see fit. And so when we talk about the history of our freedom struggle, it helps highlight the stories. It helps highlight the realities of it. But more importantly, it helps highlight the trajectory of it, because it didn't start with us. It didn't start with you all. It didn't start with the generation before you. We're part of a long trajectory of Africans who've been fighting for freedom since the Europeans touched the shores of West Africa. This movement has not stopped. Our freedom struggle has not stopped. It takes different iterations, different forms, and we are part of this long trajectory that will continue to grow. And so we want to make sure people know the history. We want to make sure people understand the ramifications of engaging in a certain level of struggle. And we want to make sure people have the support necessary when they engage, how they choose to engage.
Okay, with that, as the final note, thank both of you for joining me, and continue to do the work that you're doing. It's great. I follow what you're doing, and we need to do more of it across the board. Thank you.
Well, before you go, we want to say thank you, because you have been a source of inspiration for so many. And so, your freedom, your liberation, your being able to be freed from prison inspired so many of us. And for those of us who were told that the work around political prisoners was an impossible task, you're a living example of making it possible. And so we thank you.
Yeah, and I want to echo that. I want to say that currently the Malcolm X grassroots movement is a part of a 100-member coalition called the Movement for Black Lives. And it's a level of organizing we've never seen in our lifetime. And so it is clear in every aspect of that work, the important foundation that was laid by you and your comrades, both during the 60s and 70s, but also throughout those campaigns, to keep the work going while you're behind the bars and to free political prisoners. It is evident in everything that we do. So much thanks and much honor.
All right, and thank you. Okay, on that note, we will end this, and thank you for joining this episode of Rattling the Bars.
Fuck yeah. I mean, how was that, fam? I thought that was just a fantastic fucking piece. It's well described. And if you're new to the concept of what Black August is, I think it's a great introduction to it. Anyway, and wow, just, I don't know. I think every month should be a Black August month. We should constantly be perpetually celebrating freedom fighters that who have paid the highest prices, whether it's with their lives or their lives imprisoned, or both. These are the real heroes, man. And there's one more Limp Wrist song. Remember I started it over? Well, there's another side to this Limp Wrist also. But here we go. What's next in news from the Revolutionary Struggle? Oh, well, yes. This is, we have the documents. It's been proven. Ninja Turtles are Antifa. So we're Power Rangers. Thomas the Tank Engine. Mr. Rogers definitely. I don't know. There's a new Deftones album out. If you want to hear it, you can. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me flip the record and I'll read this description and we'll check out this video here. And what this is this is relevant to outside Catalan refugees being treated like animals with brutal violence and shit. So today on the 20th of August, about 250 people invaded some zones in Moria to beat refugees with sticks. The police was there but didn't react, and refugees had to protect themselves. Protect themselves in their own tents that they call home. No one has to live in this land, in this camp, we all agree. But beating is definitely not the solution. Make sure this isn't too loud. And just be warned, this is brutal. See if we can get a better look over here. Yeah. So here, I'll do this. Get this crap out of the way. And then I'll start it over and we'll pay attention to what she's saying over here. Okay, fam? Whoops.
قاعدين تحت الشجر تحت الزيتون ولادنا كلها طبعا مرض هذه ولادنا كلها مرضانه اللي معاه مرض نفسي واللي معاه مرض القلب واللي معاه ما عاد نتحمل.
Well, what happened? That's not what I wanted to do. Darn it. Sorry, fam. There we go. Why isn't it playing? Oh, somehow I turned it on. I swear, this is the truth. ISIS and al-Nusra are following us. Now the fascists are following us too. Bashar al-Assad is following us. Where should we go? Where did we go wrong? You took my country. We are living under the olive trees. All of our children are sick. Some of us have mental health issues. Some have diabetes. Some have problems with their hearts. We cannot handle anymore. We are exhausted. We cannot handle it anymore. We are exhausted. All my children's asylum claims have been rejected. What did we do wrong? All of us rejected. We are burning from the heat of the sun. There are snakes under our tent. We are not safe, not even from the snakes. In 2020, fascists... oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me read that. What the hell? Why does it keep doing that? Pause. Sorry, fam. I want to read that for you, though. Okay. On August 20th, 2020, fascists and locals came to Moria refugee camp on Lesbos, Greece. NGO workers and refugees were attacked. The protests are still ongoing. So yeah, I was wrong about Catalan. It's outside Greece. There's just so much of this anti-immigrant sentiment going on in Europe. It's fucking just terrifying. And I can come down here and get out of the way of it too. We can put you down here. Here we go. And the volume goes down again. Hold on. Weird. Why does it keep doing that? I don't know. My name is Oz Aldin. I am 25 years old. I live in Zone 12 of Moria Camp. Today at 1:30 p.m. we went to the food line to get lunch. We were at the food line of Zone 12 when around 60 people came here. Some of them had stones and sticks. We asked the people around us, who are they? They said they're Nazis. When they came, 30 police officers also showed up. First we thought the police would kick them out, but they supported them and did not protect us. Police did not stop them, and then they attacked the police in the food line. Wait, hold on. I missed something there. It says, police did not stop them, and they attacked the people in the food line. Refugees were beaten by fascists. They used the sticks, slapped us, and kicked us out of the line. Me and some others escaped. We ran away. Then the fascists went to the mountain. Their plan was to destroy the tents of Zone 12. Wow, man. Paying attention to this global thing going on, this fascism, it's not just an American problem. It's not just a thing that happened only because, petite bourgeois liberals are all of a sudden put out. This is a thing that's happening all over the world, that's devastating lives on a daily basis all over the world. Southern Poverty Law Center. Let's read the caption here. In 1965, Jonathan Merrick Daniels came to Alabama to help register black voters. He was arrested at a civil rights demonstration, jailed, and then suddenly released. Moments later, while walking to get a soda with a few others, he was shot to death by a deputy sheriff. The sheriff was aiming his gun at a black teenage girl, Ruby Sales. Daniels stepped in to protect her. More than a half century after Daniel's death, hashtag the march continues, hashtag rest in peace, Mr. Daniels. Indeed, rest in power. Jonathan Daniels. 1939, 1965. Rest in power. What do I have up next here? Should we do that? Ooh. I think we should go with this first. Okay, so let's check it out here, fam. This is 0 Hour. And yes, it's got some really fun stuff on the inside. It's one of those, so I'm going to show you some of it. Look how cool. That looks cool, right? See it better now. the back cover. Flip it around like this. Oops. And this inside is dope as fuck. Read what it says. One who would make the decision to take control of one's own life must accept the responsibility of working with what one has. Anyway, that is my 0 hour 7-inch. I think I have it on the right speed. May not. Uh-oh, it's dragging. Yeah. I hope we can listen to it. I may have set up 0 hour for naught. It's dragging. It's weird. Never done that before. See how it sounds on the other side.
Stand by. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7.
We're going with it. Trust me, 0 hours worth it. From the rev comms. Trump orchestrates UAE recognition of Israel, a green light for genocide against the Palestinian people, ominous dangers for the Middle East and the world. Link. Quote, for over 70 years, the very existence of the Palestinian people has been a thorn in the side of capitalism, imperialism, and their resistance is an inspiration to oppress people everywhere. Today, it is critically important that as people challenge this system in the streets, and as students in particular, but others too, are beginning to learn about the reality of the crimes this system has committed here and around the world, the true history of Israel's oppression of the Palestinian people, and the role of the U.S. in enabling that needs to be exposed and opposed as part of organizing for an actual revolution in the U.S. Palestinians burned pictures of Donald Trump, Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to protest UAE's deal with Israel in the West Bank city of Nablus, August 14th. Photo by the Press. Buy in USA video. I think I want to watch this. Yeah, only a minute 52. This song's just about to end. What we'll do is we'll come over here. There we go. +300 people and 88 cars joined PSNOA. Hold on. That's moving fast. Whoops. Oh, I missed it again. One more time, fam. I'll just start it over here. I'll keep it close here. 300+ people and 88 cars joined PSONA this year to declare the people's demands. We continue to oppose Duterte's de facto martial law under the Anti-Terrorism Act. It's in the Philippines, for people who you may not know, just for those who don't.
From Nova Bay to the East Bay, we stay surviving.
Filipinos in the U.S., we value all who stood in solidarity with us.
Because
what's going on in the Philippines is a human rights violation.
Say no to state-sanctioned terrorism. Do what's right.
Stop the terrorism, the state terrorism inflicted on the people of the Philippines.
Chunk, the terror law.
Chunk, terror law. As you Filipinos, this impacts you and your family.
This is not a president. This is a dictator.
Duterte!
Yeah.
The millions more that continue to struggle against Duterte's fascist dictatorship. For revolution
And liberation in our lifetime. Fuck yeah. Fight isn't over. Take further action and sign on to the Declaration of People's Demands versus Duterte's Dictatorship. MalayaMovement.com/peoples-demands. Powerful, man. It's fucking determination in the face of real fucking murder and oppression. It's, what was that word I said earlier? Heroic. Speaking of God, man. Pandemic, fires, calorons, and my breed doesn't crack. Fucking A, man. There's people bringing your food. In the middle of a pandemic, in fucking record historic heat, and blazing fucking fire. This is a dystopian fucking nightmare, family. What are we doing? We could just fucking do this differently. There's just a way better way to do this whole fucking structure, man. Where we don't have to subject people to scorching, irregular fucking historic heat with a backdrop of a fucking yet another season of blazing fucking destructive fires. California is never gonna look the same after all these fire seasons. Someday, if we don't now, someday is here. Like if we don't blah 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 blah, then someday this awful shit will happen. That's here. We're here, fam. Hi, it's someday now. God, I can't even. Wow. They get nothing for that. They get fucking next to shit nothing. They're barely fucking surviving and feeding their fucking children and shit. While shitheads in this country call them fucking lazy. America is such a fucking shit fucking pile of fucking dumpster fire on top of fucking mountains of fucking Bandini shit with more dumpster fires and then more fucking dog and cow shit mixed in on top. It won't play this side right. It played the other side right. Sorry, fam. Well, you know what? Let me go to maybe the other song. Weird. California fires, live updates, spreading blazes have killed 4. At least 62,000 people have been evacuated amid a grueling heat wave, the coronavirus pandemic, and air thick with smoke. Right now, the University of California Santa Cruz campus was placed under a mandatory evacuation order. This is nice. It puts the face mask on its skin, or else it gets phase 1 again. Quarantine crafts from Central Mississippi anti-fascists. This looks like for an action. That's today. This was today. Okay. Right? Yes. Yes. Still read what it says down here, though. California Judicial Council has stopped evictions from moving forward until September 1st. This order is known as Rule 1. If Rule 1 disappears on September 1st and is not replaced by Governor Newsom, it's California, clearly LA County, 491,000 LA County households are at risk of eviction. If AB 1436 isn't passed and signed into law, 491,000 LA County households who have not paid rent due to COVID could lose their homes. We will not let this happen. This Friday, August 21st, we did blockade the courts to send a clear message to Governor Newsom to put in place a hashtag new rule 1, and that he and the California legislature must pass AB 1436 and hashtag stop evictions. 6 a.m. caravan meets at 970 North Broadway. 6:30 a.m. participants in person meet at Metro Station Civic Grand Park between First and Hill. For more information, so there's all the information. But if you'll notice, which I think is just very cool, the way leftists know how to adapt to their contemporary social conditions and the pandemic, is it's almost a common occurrence now that actions have both a caravan aspect of the action and they're on the streets. So much easier to social distance if you spread your numbers out and have some people in cars and stuff like that. And it's just leftists multitask like motherfuckers, people. We have to let the destructive end of 0 hour play out because it's 0 hour. Right? There we go. Yeah. You know what I'm going to put on next? You don't, do you? I don't even know if I know. I have a few things picked out, like I said, but I don't know if I know. So over here. Let's go with Omega Tribe. Let's do that. Move this over here so I can let you take a look at what we're putting on here. Angry Songs. This is from Crass Records. Yet another one of those records that has cool fold-out stuff. So here, I should just, okay, so. This way. I should probably play the record while I show you the stuff, so at least it's just not dead air in the background. That would probably make more sense, right? Make sure I got the right speed. I do. Omega Tribe, fam. It's a hella early Euro British anarcho shit. Anarcho punk rock. I think I saw something about them performing recently even. I could be tripping. Hey, it's one of Pinko's streams. He streams to our Facebook page and his YouTube and to Twitch, live from Twitch, and he restreams it out to our pages where he does one of them. They're usually 4 or 5 hour streams. And I think it's worth randomly picking a spot and listening to our comrade Pinko the Bear say stuff about stuff for a few minutes. We'll just see where he's at it. Looks like he's doing a full conference in the beginning. Yeah, he's got an hour conference going in the beginning. Let's just come here. There we go. We'll go to 1 minute 55, see where he's at.
Yeah, I'm pretty mellow tonight, folks. But I'm glad to have the company. I'm glad y'all are here. I just wish my nose wasn't so. Maybe I should turn on the air to get some. Maybe I should get some circulation in here. So this came out yesterday, 2 days ago, August 19th. So yesterday. To all the white people that are begging black, indigenous, and brown people to vote against Trump this November. This is specifically for those vote shamers, I think, is where this is going to go. You have to vote blue no matter who because of Trump. All the white people that are talking about harm reduction, I think that's where this is going to go. I'm not sure. Here we go. So this is my first read through of it. Right? I like to do it like this. You're begging black, indigenous, brown people to vote against Trump and for Biden. Hey, are you also begging your daddy, your mama, your siblings, your Aunt Agnes, your Uncle Jake, your cousins Cody and Caitlin? Are you also begging all your high school friends who grew up to remain horrible? Are you begging them to vote against Trump this time, since they were the ones who fucking voted him in before?
Right. It seems like a fruitless
Good
task.
question. Have you done any work whatsoever to ensure that black, indigenous, and brown people you're shaming and harassing have safe and secure access to the polls? Have you done any of that?
Doubtful.
Are you going to do anything to stop your people, your white people, from helping Trump cheat? You going to do that? White people? Anywhere? Anybody going to do that? Are you aware that for some black people, indigenous folk, brown people, for some, being asked to vote for the frying pan over the fire is not as simple as nodding and saying yes, massa. The decision is a traumatic one, and it requires intense thought and consideration. Allow us that. I like where this is going.
Oh, sorry.
Son of Baldwin is always very thoughtful and has changed my mind or my thinking on several occasions, many occasions. Not on anything huge, just on things that I thought that I knew or I felt, and then Son of Baldwin will bring up the topic, and I'm like, oh wow, I see. Right? That's why I enjoy Son of Baldwin.
Son of Baldwin.
When we do vote and attempt to save the world from white destruction once again, are you going to keep forgetting what we're owed? Like you have for every election prior? And continue to allow our human rights to be questioned? Are you going to do that, white people? Huh? It's never us who reneges on the deal. It's always you.
What? Damn straight.
Little side note, this does not apply to Black, Indigenous, and Brown people debating and discussing amongst our own communities.
Nice.
I like this for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I do too, Bingo.
I think it draws out some things that a lot of vote shamers, a lot of white middle class or even upper middle class, at least middle class or aspiring middle class, or even working class. Well, middle class is working, but a lot of people who are more comfortable, a little more well off, that are white, a little more secure, a lot less under the gun. They're doing a lot of vote shaming. Oh, won't you think about the marginalized people?
Right.
Like they've got this weird kind of.
You're so bad. You're supporting racism because you don't want to defeat Trump, because you won't vote for Biden.
I don't know
so
if
you're the real
chauvinist
racist.
is the right word, but there's a. I'm blanking on the word, but they have this the more well off white people that I hear going on and on about how you have to vote the orange man out, and Trump's going to save it, or Biden's going to save us, and everybody's got, and they're getting involved in discussions where they don't belong.
Word.
That's what this speaks to, and I love it. That so a lot of times Son of Baldwin will say, no white people commenting on this. I've got a thing to say, and this is just for Black fam. Great. Mm-hmm. But then this one is just to us white people. I don't know what the makeup of the room is. I don't know. But I'm guessing largely male and largely white, just like all of Twitch. But yeah, something to think about. And we have to talk to our people. Those are the people we have to straighten out. Are you doing anything to stop your people, white people, from helping Trump cheat? And what are you going to do? What are you going to do afterwards? Anyway, I like it. It's a really good thread. I read a bunch of it earlier on the bottom of the comments, enough to know what the lead was. So there's that.
Nice. Pico follows cool stuff. He finds good things.
I figured so, Girly Bear.
He calls himself a content curator. That's what he calls himself.
Sure.
Not so much a content creator, as much as a content
all out of
curator.
Kombucha. I really like this stuff. When I first saw this, I was like, it's packaged like medicine in a brown bottle, like iodine bottle. It's real heavy. I was like, what is it? What a waste.
There's nowhere where my things could look
I was
good.
like, oh, some health drink, please. Blah, blah, blah. I really like this stuff. And it's really helpful, I think, for digestion. I don't have a gallbladder, so a lot of the stuff I eat is a little dicey.
So Pico calls himself a Marxist-Leninist.
I think it's musical break time, my friends.
communist,
I could
lives
feel- I could- I
in New
really
York.
feel it. Sweet
Friend in
Dreams,
real
Medieval
life.
Sweet Dreams,
Friend.
really?
We
Really? Who put this in here?
met during Reno Occupy.
Somebody, Sam Orcus?
He
Samus
organizes
Orcus?
and works with the Workers'
Somebody
World
put
Party
this
in
in
New
there.
York.
I
It's
don't
a
know who it is.
communist
What
party.
the hell? I did not know this was in my.
This is
I
his
did not
personal
know this
show,
was in
though.
my,
It's not
Discord.
a sort of sanctioned
But,
Workers' World Party
I think I wanna play
podcast or anything.
this.
It's just his own personal show.
Dude,
And I think it's fucking cool.
dude,
And
I think it'll be fun.
so, yeah, you get
'Cause
to
I
see,
do
you know, hey,
need to take a break.
we got an anarchy in the P
I'm
for
gonna
P
get
logo,
some, medicine.
but you only
knows?
hear anarchist voice here.
But in the meantime,
We're not afraid of tankies,
I've
whatever
been
that
digging these
means
medieval versions
to you.
of
If you have a negative fucking
Yeah, just a little
understanding of what
bit,
tanky means,
I like it. I'm
Really?
gonna listen to the first part, and then I gotta pop up.
this is actually Eurythmics.
Well, okay, I'm gonna stay here the whole time. I can tell. Nice. 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 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something, but they want to use you. Some of them want to be. Shakira.
Anyway,
Hold your head up.
there you go. That's there's a little snippet of our comrade Pinko the Bear and what he does. And like I said, he streams like 4-5 days a week, and he'll stream for 4 or 5 hours a night. And he does that where he does his own thing, and then a lot of times he does stream. You know, a lot of the forums and panel discussions and stuff that are done over Zoom and stuff for his party, from Workers' World Party and stuff, and those are really fascinating too and well worth watching. You can find him as Pinko the Bear on Twitch and YouTube, and and listen, if you go into the videos section of the Punks for Progress main page, there's just there's shit tons of his shows on there. If you want to go and kind of get caught up and check them out, I think that you will not be disappointed if you did. We can turn up this here Omega Tribe. Yeah, Pinko. You know, I don't celebrate people going to prison or think that prison has any type of like positive effect on anything other than fucking the capitalist ruling class bosses who use them to enslave people and profit from it. But Bannon is a person who has committed himself to consolidating fascist groups around the world and in Europe especially. And he's adept at it. He's capable. And he's well connected. And him off the streets is a good thing for everybody. It's a good thing for everybody. But not only has he got charges against him, which many of you may heard of. Are you reading this here? Trump directed Homeland Security to give $400 million to firm tied to Bannon's We Build the Wall scheme. It's from Raw Story. I'm not going to go read the whole story. You could go and make your own assessment of the facts as presented by Raw Story, but like really? I mean, you got Trump out here acting like he didn't even know what it was. God, it's so gross. So this is from Redfish. In Berlin, the Jewish-owned bar Morgen wird besser, Tomorrow Will Be Better, was the target of an arson attack the police are investigating a political motive. Anti-Semitic slogans were also sprayed on the outside walls, and the owner has reportedly received several threats from Nazis. The arson attack on Morgenwerdbesser is one of the latest in alleged Nazi attacks on residents, their homes, shops, and cars that have been on the rise in Germany and its capital. Disgusting. Flip over here. Side 2 of... I'll make a try. Prayer Vigil, Sunday, August 23rd. That's this Sunday. I think this video will be up. Yeah, it should be up by the time this is happening. Perryville State Prison, 7 p.m., 2105 North Citrus Road, Goodyear, Arizona, 85395. Puente Human Rights Movement, join us this Sunday for all the women who are incarcerated. Our mothers, daughters, friends, and communities in these cages. We show up in community because we love and value our women. And we will fight for their liberation. # free them all. Notice the X. Respect. Puente Human Rights Movement. Convo couch. California right now. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Social distance. Stay safe. Jesus Christ. Remember that dystopia that might happen if we don't, whatever and whatever right now, if we don't get on that now and fix it. The thing that might happen. Remember we were talking about that? There it is. There's the thing that will happen if we don't do the thing we should have did. We might want to get on it sometime because it might, this might happen. Oh shit, it's already happening. Are you involved with some type of group? Are you involved in an anti-capitalist organization? Are you organizing with fellow anti-capitalists in some way? Are you working with others in organization and concert with others? Are you doing food not bombs? Are you working on a mutual aid effort? There's plenty of opportunities for you to get involved in those things if you're not currently, and if that's not in your area, because of course people's demographics are different in the cities and the areas and whatever that you live in don't have as many opportunities, but you could be the one. You could become that opportunity, I guess, for lack of a better word, in your community. Because it's fucking here, fam. This is what the graphic fucking collapse of capitalism all around us. And all we have is us to protect ourselves from this. Community. Fast-moving fire in Northeast. NSW marks first big blaze of the season. A fire in the NSW far Northeast has triggered the state's first major deployment of water bombers for the 2020-2021 brush fire season, with crews battling to control the blaze near the town of Durhamba, not far south of Queensland NSW border. In Sydney. Jesus Christ, last season the entire fucking continent just was torched. Remember? Remember when Australia was just one big, massive fucking blaze? Here we go again. And this fuck. So what this is from Indigenous Action. A number of groups are coming out in solidarity with Crime Think, and it's going down, who of course we are in solidarity with. Crime Think and It's Going Down are invaluable resources. There's so many fucking great people that contribute to those efforts. And to lose their voice, I mean, it's not lost, but it's took a serious fucking blow. Amidst fucking bringing down QAnon and shit, fam. They fucking lump in righteous people who are trying to educate people to the ills of QAnon and the danger that QAnon represents. Facebook comes along and goes, okay, yeah, we'll get rid of QAnon and you. Meanwhile, there's all kinds of people fucking spewing QAnon bullshit all over the same platform that just, sweeped QAnon. Great, get rid of the fucking QAnon fucking scum. But yeah. And I've seen fucking people sharing articles that talk about how they removed both QAnon and anti-fascist and anarchist sites, and people are celebrating it. And people who are pro-anti-fascist and who are behind anarchists, like, dude, hold up. Yeah, that's great QAnon, but don't celebrate it when your own comrades are being fucking kicked to the shit fucking curb. And I'm not going to read the whole statement, but there's a number of groups that have come out and look, they're talking about there's a threat of, if you post this kind of shit, that your page will get thrown down. If you come out in solidarity with Crime Think and It's Going Down, that's the threat. That's fucking terrorism, fam. How is that not terrorism? Here's two of the most respected fucking sites that have been going at the fascists and the violence of the far right consistently. We'll fucking take their site down, and if you support them, we'll take your site down. Makes it really scary to support anyone that's an anti-fascist or an anarchist for people. And I don't blame anyone for being scared. That's the point. It's terrorism. That will not go down for some reason. You know what I think is needed at this point? Yeah, we'll go with Spitboy 7-inch. Show you this, fam. It's 7 inches called Rosanna. It's got 3 songs: Unknown, Blue, and All Grown Up. Turn it and put it on. And it is 45, side A. It's like a booklet. Spitboy from the Bay Area, from East Bay. Fires, rain, pandemic, heat. Fucking believable. South Sound Street Medics to Olympia's Farm Workers' Rights March. Please join us on Saturday for our prayerful march to stand in solidarity with the farm workers of Eastern Washington. Thank you to all our relations taking a stand with us. What's this? Cooling centers are a lifeline for those with no way to escape the heat. There are too few, and we don't even know that they'll stay open this weekend because Mayor Eric Garcetti hasn't decided yet. Despite the obvious weather, the decision to keep cooling centers open will be, quote, based on temperature and AQI. Apparently, Mayor Eric Garcetti doesn't have Google. So here's a spoiler. It's still going to be hot. Garcetti has made himself the arbiter of people's safety, but also the procrastinator in chief. Waiting to announce these centers makes life hard on those who need to know where they are. Let him know we want the centers kept open until the heat wave ends. Cooling centers. Cooling centers let the vulnerable and those without AC catch a breath of fresh, cool air in the heat wave. With common refuges of shade and cold, like the LA Public Library, closed due to COVID, cooling centers are critical to public health. No need for Nostradamus. We know the heat wave and air quality advisories from the fires are going to last. Despite this, cooling centers don't even know if they'll be opened this weekend, leaving the vulnerable unable to plan and potentially stranded. United States Postal Service fans are loving a very unofficial poster that adds fascism to the challenges that can't stop the Postal Service. Yeah, you've probably all seen that floating around, right? If you haven't, sorry, I'm of no assistance to you on that today, because I'm not going to go search for it. The poisonous dregs of the alt-right dump themselves in Portland. Piece by Rose City Antifa. Yeah, we can take a look at this piece. The poisonous dregs. Let me see how long it is. Okay, yeah, I'm not. That's. I'll read a little bit of it. I don't know if I'm going to end up going through the whole thing. Published on August 20th, 2020. On August 22nd, a group of far-right agitators are planning to hold a No to Marxism in America rally in downtown PDX, coordinated with two others somewhat more innocuously titled Mother of All Back the Blue rallies. Jesus Christ. Intended to disguise the actual reactionary and fascist rhetoric behind the events. This particular group of organizers is mostly a pathetic collection of rejects and cast-offs from various local right groups that have been staging violent incursions in Portland for years. Adrian killing it. Hold on. Adrian's badass. This particular group of organizers is mostly a pathetic collection of rejects. Okay, despite their overall lack of right-wing social capital, at last weekend's downtown, this group proved themselves capable of often unprovoked, disproportionate, and potentially deadly violence, and they continue to pose a real threat to our community. Whether it's folks who learn about this event ahead of time Whether it's folks who learned about this event ahead of time and are already familiar with the assortments of scumbags in attendance, or just passersby who happen upon the rally and are disgusted by the racist and overtly reactionary rhetoric on display, people in Portland don't let fascist organizing happen unchallenged and uncritiqued. By belief and by action, those attending this rally have chosen to position themselves in racist opposition to the movement for Black Lives. That's right. And for that, they should feel unwelcome wherever they are. Fucking A. They have also proven their enthusiasm to engage in reckless violence, but there is safety in numbers. So watch out and take care of those around you. Get together with friends and pack snacks, make signs, get familiar with who these people are, and don't forget your mask. You got Amber Cummings, who organized the last attack on Revolution, the last public attack on Revolution Books. Since then, they had a storefront window busted out since she did her thing. And then this is the other dude, the guy here with the blue shirt. These are the fucking Identity Europa people. This dude with the blue shirt cold clocked a woman in the face, which she has dreads. A lot of people have seen that footage, but yeah, Nathan Damago. And Amber Cummings. So despite the fact that these organizers are largely ridiculed and despised even within their own movement, recent events have shown that they are hungry for violence and plan to take full advantage of the ongoing legacy of impunity offered by the state to far-right, fascist, and neo-Nazi agitators who have spent the past 3 years invading Portland intent on harassing and assaulting people. Yeah, so she makes, she says that shit. So if you come out, if you say anything fucking insulting of her, she's like, oh, so you're insulting a trans woman? No, no. Well, sure, you're a trans woman and I just insulted you because I've insulted her on the street to her face. And she pulled that shit. You insulted a trans woman? Well, inadvertently, but I'm in no way whatsoever insulting your trans status. I'm astonished that you are so pro-Trump as a trans person because he's systematically fucking making life miserable for the trans community on purpose. Transsexual speaker coming to Portland Trump rally. She got her fucking ass all sorts of handed to her when she fucking came out to in the last time, which is what, I don't know, a year or two ago. You can see there's a video. There's a video I put together and a video that our comrade Rad Khan put together from that event. It was just humiliating for her. But it became abundantly fucking clear and obvious at that event that she was never going to fucking get that type of attention again. It so was abundantly clear that her career as someone that cameras get directed at in the Bay Area was over. And it has been. And now she pops up, she's going to fucking go do her thing in Portland. And they're like, hell no. But yeah, I mean, we don't need to read the rest of the piece. You can read all that if you really want to see where they go with it. But Rose City Antifa is definitely one of the most reliable and factual and, for lack of a less capitalist sounding word, professional fucking sources for, I guess ethical would be a better word, sources for anti-fascist information on PDX. Rose City. A lot of anti-fascists have taken their notes and their cues and saw the successes used by Rose City Antifa and were able to implement those tactics successfully in defense of communities in their areas. Amazing. But that was all of Spitboy, which means we need to put on, I'm thinking, Econochrist. What do you think about that, fam? Should we listen to Econochrist? It's 33 and a third. Means I got to change the speed. Is it switched? Oh, I want to let go. Oh, because I'm hitting the wrong button, fam. You got to hit the right thing if you want it to do the thing you want it to do when you're doing things. So yeah, this here's Iconochrist. This is Ebullition Records. Let you take a look here. Truth is defined by the conformity of the masses. The only truth I believe is that truth has no bearing on my life. I do not see with your eyes, and I do not think with your mind, your laws, your rules, your tradition, your views. I define my own value. I define my own truth. Truth is a lie told too many times. There you go, fam. This is Iconochrist. I can tell you a funny story. Okay, so the band Instagirl was in town in Reno, and they just a couple of members, which is people that were in Spitboy, and they came and hung with us at the Ryland Street basement where I used to live. And they had this dude with them named Ben, and in meeting them for the few minutes, my old roommate Sticker Guy is who knew them. In meeting for a few minutes, I thought, I know a record that I can guarantee you these people will appreciate the music of. So I went in my room and I put on this record and fucking turned it up hella loud. And what it was the Iconochrist LP. Sticker Guy comes in and goes, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, what? This is a fucking sick record. He's like, dude, that's Ben from Iconochrist, the singer for Iconochrist. So I'm that fucking dipshit that's like, dude, do you know that record that you're on? Like, I didn't know it was him, but literally, who goes in and goes, hey man, you're here? Dude, here's your record that you're on. Let me put on your record since you came over. Like, the last thing that somebody wants to happen. Yeah, that's how I met Ben from Iconochrist. True story. But look, come on. I think that my instincts were right. Clearly, Ben from Iconochrist is into the music of Iconochrist. I mean, I nailed it. I nailed it so fucking good that, anyway. I came off looking like an absolute fucking dipshit, but you gotta give it up for my fucking, 5 minutes hanging with people, and I'm like, this is an Iconochrist crowd. Let's see here. PSL, Party for Socialism and Liberation. Yesterday, we joined the caravan to Pasadena demanding justice for Anthony McLean, organized by Black Lives Matter Pasadena. There were about 200 people in attendance. Nafisa, a mother that was maced while protecting her children from police, during an altercation following the murder of Anthony, spoke at the event. They are using the following hashtag, Keep Nafisa Kaba Free, and hashtag, Don't Mace My Baby. The car caravan blocked off 3 lanes of traffic going south on Fair Oaks, then blocked all lanes while heading east on Colorado Boulevard. The caravan stopped at Mayor Terry Torek's house, where protesters pressured him into coming out to meet with BLM Pasadena leaders and Anthony McLean's girlfriend. He said he would release the body cam footage and would propose police reform on Monday to Pasadena City Council vote. We will continue to join upcoming protests alongside the community to demand justice for Anthony McLean and to stop police terror. Nice. Yes. Caravan. Nice. Out the back. Megaphone out the back. Flip this here Econocrash record. No tolerance for Nazi scum. It's the Antifa Sacramento. This is their statement in solidarity with Crime Think, and it's going down. We can go ahead and read theirs. After the recent shutdowns of anarchist Facebook pages, Antifa Sacramento stands in solidarity with the revolutionary abolitionist movement. That's right, and RAM also. Crime Think, and it's going down, and other anarchist groups that have been silenced. Our online presence is only a fraction of anti-fascist work. We were in the streets before Facebook, and we'll be here when Facebook is just a memory in the fight against capitalist, white supremacist state. Platforms such as these reflect the world they emerge from. When companies such as Facebook show us who they are and who they stand with, believe them. We stand against fascism, full stop, forever. There we go. Whoops. So this is Max Parthis with Scotty T. Reed. Yeah, so that's Scotty T. Reed from Black Agenda Report? No. Black Talk Radio. And Max Parthis from Millions for Prisoners March, and from, who I met during the Millions for Prisoners March, but he does Abolition Today, which we featured their first 15 episodes of their podcast on our channel, if you want to check those out. But they're also just abolitiontoday.org. But I haven't watched this yet. I shared it to the page, the intent of covering it in the show, because I read what it has here is the caption. So the 13th Amendment trick. Opening clip by Gregory Jacoy in Washington, D.C., outside the White House, one day after the I Am We Prison Advocacy Network / Millions for Prisoners Coalition Human Rights March. The largest gathering of slavery abolitionists in modern history. Video and music, Tricked, featuring KXNG, Crooked Royce 5'9", releases his latest video, Tricked, featuring KXNG, Crooked, from The Allegory, and it has a link for where it's available. Playing on air Saturday, August 23rd on Abolition Today, abolitiontoday.org. Come over here and we'll get a fuller picture of it. Make sure I have a good level here for it.
Abolition. Today.
I'd like to introduce you to great.
I think we can keep it up nice and loud.
Abolition. Today.
I'd like to introduce you to Greg Jacoy, hey y'all, Green Party member out of South Carolina, and maybe we can get some of his thoughts on the weekend events and the culmination of it all.
Thank you, Max. This was a tremendous experience, and I regret that more people were not here. I thought the crowd was tremendous. We had a mixed race, mixed sex ethnicity group. There were lots of women, lots of men. It represented America, and the reason it represented America is because Americans understand that slavery is wrong, and there can be no exceptions to slavery being wrong. Wrong is wrong and right is right. There are no exceptions. Now, but what we've done is we have actually put an exception. That's why it's called the exception clause. We have put an exception in the Constitution for the first time, making slavery legal, specifically legal in the Constitution. Up until then, it had simply been a fact. It had not been written into the Constitution. But after the 13th Amendment was manipulated to create a system whereby black people could continue to be enslaved, they tricked us. And an awful lot of us bought the trick. An awful lot of us believed that people had been freed. But as Frederick Douglass said, nothing more than a tremendous deceit had been brought upon us. We had been tricked. And the truth of the matter is, we've been tricked since the 13th Amendment was passed. At least the vast majority of us have been tricked. But there are people who are awake who understand that when you say accept, that means there's someone who can be turned into a slave. And that is morally, ethically wrong.
Trick. Trick. It's a trick. We've been tricked. It's a trick. We've been tricked. Tricked into thinking we need that, we need this. Tricked into thinking since we rap, we get rich. Trick. My nigga, it's a trick. It's a trick. We've been tricked into thinking that the art is a pie to be split. My nigga, that's a farce. It's a lie. We've been tricked. If you can name a record label guy taking risks, then I can name a misdirected guy that's been tricked. This is why I don't fuck with them. Only thing they taking is your publishing. Watch you make mistakes in the court of public sin. Got you concentrating on hitting the club, getting spins. Balling off of your budget, that's at your expense. Your A&R spending 5, they deducting 10. Trick, we've been tricked. It's a trick. My nigga, it's a trick. Trick into thinking we need them to exist. Trick into thinking that my sister is a bitch. Thinking I can kiss these random bitches on the lips. Thinking that my health is not an issue till I'm sick. Forever having issues with my brother, that's a trick. Because we Crips and Bloods, we kill each other, that's a trick. Think because you do crime that you cannot fall victim. Think you can drink and drive, not end up in car collision. From day one at the hospital, they target our children. Say they gon' immunize them, they somehow get autism. Incriminate myself on record, speaking on my life. Expect to receive blessings out here cheating on my wife. Trick. It's a trick, we've been tricked. Trick. My nigga, you've been tricked.
I took the sweet life and I knew I'd be better. I took the sweet life and
the owners of them prisons are magicians, that's a trick. Voila, disappearing in the system, that's a trick. Trick. My nigga, we been tricked. Trick. My nigga, that's a trick. The pen is a black magic hat, that's a trick. Pull your rabbit ass out and put you back, that's a trick. Thinking it's a rite of passage for a black male. Ain't a real nigga till you enter that jail. It's a trick, it's a spell. You're bewitched, it's a L. You're bigger than that prison like Mandela in the cell. Made you fall in love with sitting in a prison room. Then swept you under the rug with the wicked witch's broom. What about your son sitting in your bitch's womb? Without you, he's a thug. Prison business just resumes. Trick. My nigga, it's a trick. Trick. We've been tricked, it's a trick. Them 360 deals got them living in your pockets. Now everything you gross is hitting different than your profits. Thinking you the man cause you made $1 million. They wave a magic wand, Uncle Sam fill his wallets. Trick. My nigga, you been tricked. Trick. It's a trick, we've been tricked. Trick. My nigga, you been tricked. Trick. My nigga, you been tricked. Tricked into thinking your amendments really matter. The right to bear arms was only made for Grizzly Adams. Trick. My nigga, you been tricked. Trick. We've been tricked, it's a trick. Thinking your degree will have everything protected. A ghetto sounding name got your resume rejected. And politicians lie, got they clever ways perfected. Cause puppet masters still control whoever they elected. Trick. My nigga, we've been tricked.
Abolition. Today.
Huh, fam? That's from Abolition Today. God. Max does those about once a week. The show airs every day at, I believe it's 4 p.m. Eastern time on Sundays and Block Talk Radio, but you can just type in abolitiontoday.org and it'll take you there. But usually like on a Wednesday or Thursday preceding, he puts out one of these videos, usually 5, 6, 7 minutes long. teases of what what they got in store for that week's show. Abolition Today is top notch. They just started out, and check it out. They opened a Abolition Center. I forget what it's called, man. Forgive me, Max, if you're watching. I can't remember what it's called, but it's fucking, dude, they have a spot. And I don't know that they're anarcho-syndicalists like me, but it's all black and red and shit. It looks so fucking good, and it's a legit studio for Abolition Today, and I can't wait. They're gonna start churning out like legit interviews and segments and stuff. They're about to step up fucking big time. So find Abolition Today on different platforms and stuff, and start following them, because they're about to fucking, like, I mean, they've been doing real work in the streets for so long. Straight up, without question. But they're about to bring a production quality so we can all fucking participate in their experience and shit. Oh, fuck, dude. I can't wait. I can't wait. I should say I feel bad. We haven't been uploading Abolition Today videos, and it's just because I haven't been able to carve out the time to do it. I just haven't. We got behind. And please, please, please go subscribe to Abolition Today on YouTube and follow them on Facebook. I promise you will thank me to yourself later. You don't have to contact me to thank me, though. So, literally any of the policies millions of people are demanding, the Democratic Party, why can't we all just unify and stop Trump? It must be the left's fault. Right? Of course, it's the left's fault. That was Econochrist. So, let's see. I only have 2 other records here. Yeah, we'll go with Suppression. I have Suppression, and then I have one other 7-inch over here. I pulled out an Electric Frankenstein 7-inch. Lots of cool stuff in here. Let me put it on. Huh. This is actually a letter from Jason from Suppression to me. Telling us to keep an eye out for a Kojak split 7-inch. Aaron, I bet you thought this package would never exist. Sincere apologies. I finally have my own room, record, same city, couch surfing. Because we were in communication because we put out some music together, me and Jason from Suppression, and he put out some of my old band Lack of Integrity and Eversquelch and stuff. We forgot that was in there. Look at me. I'm all fucking... I forgot that Jason put that in there. Yeah. If you don't vote for Biden, you're responsible for Trump. Fuck your fear-mongering and emotional manipulation. Twice. Thank you very much. This is one of those panel discussion forums, online meetings I was telling you about from Workers World that Pinko restreams. It's long. We're not going to watch the whole thing. I could tell you, I caught some of this one, and towards the end of it, and they had a comrade from Vietnam talking about the COVID response, the amazingly fucking methodical COVID response in Vietnam in comparison to America. Wow. It's just... Our country is such a fucking dumpster fire. This is today. Shared yesterday for a rally today. Shut it down. No evictions. Blockade the courts. Los Angeles, California. Coronavirus pandemic sidelines California's inmate firefighters. California has used inmate firefighters since the 1940s. People like inmate firefighter Jason Dixon carry heavy backpacks and perform vital but backbreaking grunt work. They use saws and axes to clear underbrush around a fire. In recent years, 3,500 of the state's 15,500 wildfire fighters were inmates, according to the state's fire agency, CAL FIRE. Are you cool with this? Sunland, Tijuana, August 27th. Proud Boy sucker punches a black man. These motherfuckers, man. Join us August 21st, 4:30 p.m. Fell Labor, Houck Park. This is today at 4:30. Where is this? In Birmingham. This is Alabama. So this is about to happen in about a half hour from when I'm recording. Because we fucking aren't. You cool with this? Because we fucking aren't. Fucking A, man. And then these Proud Boys, they go home. They have themselves so fucking the right wing. A lot of these militia fucks and shit too. They have like just sort of they dive headfirst into all this propaganda that constantly tells them that Antifa wants to destroy thing and are out to fight, and BLM are violent terrorists and shit. All this shit isn't even remotely true. But by the time they get so frenzied up and riled up, by the time they get to the street, all they're there to do is fight. And then they do this shit like this guy did and go home and go, look, Antifa got sent home like pussies. BLM pussies got their ass handed to them. They literally think it's about like who's tougher in the street, and that's what demonstrating and protest is about. Coming out showing how badass and unafraid you are. I'm not going to, come to my house, I'll show you. So that what it translates to them just coming out in the street and just beating the shit out of people that did nothing to them, that never committed any type of violence, as they scream, you're violent Antifa, you're violent BLM. That's called being completely fucking brainwashed and a part of a right-wing death cult. Side 2 is suppression. Quick update, it's been very busy, air moderately improved for now, but terrible to the east. This is from Mask, Oakland. Fire continues to grow. 2 complexes are each almost as large as the entire campfire of 2018. Wow. What we've been up to, we realized this was going to get extremely bad around 1 a.m. on Wednesday. We have since mobilized over a dozen volunteers and partners and sent over 2,000 of our dwindling supplies of N95s into curbside and other vulnerable communities. The combination of pandemic and fire smoke is intense, but communities are processing quickly that the surgical and cloth masks they have are insufficient. Any N95s with valves, we are providing surgical masks to help cover it, like nurses have been doing. The AQI was extreme on Wednesday and remains bad depending on which way the wind blows. We have been receiving donations and still need all we can get to help build community power to help us breathe. maskoakland.org/give. Please give all you can and consider making it recurring to help us build stability in what is very often boom-bust work. If we can have more regular gifts, we can plan more in advance. That said, surge support is also crucial. More updates soon. Stay tuned. Mask Oakland. This is, if If you're looking for ways to be involved, there's plenty. We try to bring examples of it to our channel so you can do it, so you can find it for yourself. Now, this I'm stoked about. Dirty Cakes is one of the few bands that we've done interviews with here on the channel. We interviewed them when they first put out this song, Resist 45. Punker Mike knew them, and they came on and hung out with us. But since then, they, they've added Becky Reck on drums, who's from the Lunatics. And they put out this new video for the song. And the song is cool as fuck, and this video is just, it's so fucking sick. And yes, of course we're going to watch it. Let's switch over to this fucking view. I can move some stuff out of the way. I don't want to cover up Dirty Cakes here. Put that there. Move this down. Actually, you know what? Let's put you over here. How's that? Ta-da. No, I like it better over here. What do you think, Phil? I think it looks better over here. But yeah, this is Dirty Cakes. Resist 45. Go, fam. Dirty Cakes band. Dirty Cakes, Resist 45. We're getting real close to wrapping this up, fam. We'll take a couple, scroll just a little bit further, see what's up, but we're well over 2 hours already. And that's 20 hours from, we're getting into 24 hours ago worth of posts. This is from Frey Capallo, who's regularly videoing from street actions on the East Coast. It's a little bit.
Okay, guys, they're actually... Okay, everyone, I'm back up. They're just now kicking off the march, assuming everyone is in there. So they're just kicking off the march. That's why I took the stream down earlier from the rally that was going on. It took a while for it to actually take place. And as you can see, there are hundreds, if not 1,000 people here. And you can see it's a coalition of groups that have come together for this. And this is the time for it to happen. This is one of the most critical times with hundreds of thousands of people trying to survive during a pandemic. And the idea that, that during this pandemic people haven't been able, people are barely getting by. But to go ahead and have to deal with the issue of rent and everything else, it's been just one of those situations. And as you can see, the march is stretching from all the way back up front.
Not that taxation stuff.
As you can see, like I said, it's a coalition of groups coming together, calling for eviction-free zones, that the rents should be canceled. And the reality is, with the Senate, House, all on vacation, people are suffering right now. They've been suffering. Not to mention the loss of loved ones on top of that, and that they have to be fearful of being evicted from their homes, them, their families, children. There's already a homeless issue or a houseless issue within this country that's way beyond where it should be. It should never exist in a country that's supposed to be cutting edge. But it does exist. And basically, you have representatives that are in a position right now where they want to add to the number of people that are homeless. So the idea of, cancel the rent, cancel the evictions, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. And again, thank you, Mark Apollo. March Against Billionaire Landlords. Help support independent media and live streaming by donating today. And there's the link for his PayPal. Literally, he's out there every single day, fam. And anyway, can you see that? There's a band called Electric Frankenstein. It's from 2000. This is 20 years old now. TKO Records. Fucking A. Wow. COVID can be defeated. China, Cuba, Vietnam, Venezuela lead the way. Oh, okay. So this was a this actual panel discussion was is on our channel. This is an advertisement for. We scrolled past it earlier in this feed. Oh, this is cool. Comrade Polar Bear eating the rich. A starving polar bear eating an oil company executive. Long Beach People's Collective. Our food program doesn't stop because of a little heat wave. Here we have frittata, Mediterranean vegetable soup, and some snacks to go with it. Stay as cool as you can out there. We're here for you. People fundamentally give a shit about other people. Capitalism stops us from effectively acting on that natural inclination and instinct. This is good news. This is great. Great. Here we go. Texas QAnon supporter used car to attack strangers she believed were pedophiles. Exclusive. A QAnon supporter in Texas got in her car and went hunting for pedophiles, chasing strangers on the road. She cornered a 19-year-old believing they were trafficking children and attacked them repeatedly. I mean, you know, these people that follow QAnon, they don't give a shit about all the fucking reports of child sexual abuse in these fucking cages, in these fucking prisons that they got children in at the border, right? Well, they're not even, the cages aren't all at the border, they're spread out throughout the country. But we're taking these refugee children, sticking them in fucking cages throughout in these private fucking for-profit prisons throughout the country, and fucking there's all these reports coming out of sexual abuse. With these fucking QAnon fucking people who've hijacked the fucking Save the Children hashtag, they're going to get in their car and go find the random pedophile on the street and run him over with their car. It's not a weird coincidence that this woman is that fucking detached from reality. She was taught to be that way. Like our comrades from Total Massacre say, the system works, just not for us. And that fucking, what this does is this further bolsters the fucking chaos and the divisions and the hate amongst each other, amongst the people, amongst the workers that the capitalist ruling class bosses want to foment. We got one more Electric Frankenstein song that we'll go through before we get out of here. Some more stuff about the Cal fires. Trump cabinet official voted in 2018 White House meeting to separate migrant children. God, he's such a fucking monstrous ghoul. In early May 2018, after weeks of phone calls and private meetings, 11 of the president's most senior advisors were called to the White House Situation Room, where they were asked, by a show of hands vote, to decide the fate of thousands of migrant parents and their children, according to two officials who were there. Food Nut Bombs Isla Vista. It's hot out there, folks. We've been giving out Gatorade and water every day, but our shopping trips are expensive. This is only 3 days worth of drinks, plus 200 meals a week, including buying all of the materials for takeout containers and brown bagged sandwiches. If you are able, please consider donating to our work. And there's the PayPal. Rotting food, dead animals, and disabled mail machines at postal facilities around California amid cutbacks. Riot Heart. Early morning action kicking off day 85 of protests in Louisville, Kentucky. About a dozen elders hosted a sit-in on the front lawn of Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. One arrest was made. Hashtag no justice, no peace. Hashtag Danny Boy. Thursday, August 27th, Women for Forest Defending Communities from Pandemic and Climate. The people freed Huey. We can free Rashid as well. Damn right. IDOC Watch of Indiana. Black August shout out to Aaron Israel Isby, another imprisoned Indiana freedom fighter. Israel was held in solitary confinement by the Indiana Department of Corrections for nearly 28 consecutive years after becoming a target of the prison authorities in the early 90s due to his refusal to submit to racism, abuse, and inhumane conditions. In 1991, he participated in the mass hunger strike, which lasted around a month at the Maximum Control Complex, now Westfield Control Unit. That hunger strike gave rise to the first human rights investigation into solitary confinement in the U.S. and the Human Rights Watch report, Cold Storage, Super Maximum Solitary Confinement in Indiana. In 2018, Israel won a federal civil rights lawsuit against the IDOC for violations of his constitutional right to due process that were involved in the DOC keeping him in solidarity for 28 years. You can read more here, read more about the lawsuit here. Israel remains incarcerated at Miami CF on a trumped-up attempted murder charge, which resulted from him defending himself against a cell extraction team assaulting him in 1990. You can contact and support Israel by setting up an account at web.connectnetwork.com and sending him messages and money, or you can write to him at Aaron Israel Isby, number 892219, Miami CF 3038 West, 850 South, Bunker Hill. Please show this good brother some love for Black August. Hashtag Black August. Hashtag Black August Resistance. And on that, I think that's it. We started out on a report on Black August, and we'll go out on a shout out in solidarity with Black August. I think that's a good way to close it up. But I can let you take a look at this here. You didn't really get to see it in the small. Some fucking great artwork. Like Frankenstein 2000. Anyway, I really appreciate you hanging out with me, fam. I hope you learned something. I hope you were entertained. I hope you, I don't know. If you made it this far, you got something out of it. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate you doing that. That's fucking cool as fuck. I also want to, before we get out, say much love, thanks, and appreciation to all of the P4P fam. For real, you guys are so fucking awesome that we come together and you bring all this information that I can then come out here and share it with people like this. Really, it's just amazing, and I really appreciate all the work you guys do. For real. So much love and appreciation. And lastly, but certainly not least, much love, thanks, and appreciation to anyone and everyone who does whatever the fuck they can to make life just a little bit better for other fucking people. Thank you for getting out there and trying. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching the What the Fuck Report. I'm Reverend Aaron. We'll see you next time on Punks for Progress.